Hey everybody, this is NecrolydeTV. Welcome to the new vlog. It's a sitting vlog because I want to talk to you guys about something. If you guys have noticed, I am fat, and let's talk about bullying. The story about bullying is I've been bullied my entire life since I was 2 years old. I think so, yeah, 2 years old, if I remember correctly. I always got bullied, and that's not okay. I think bullying is stupid. It can make people feel bad about themselves to the point where they start eating and eating and eating and eating to the point where I'm fat. I'm like super fat, like my boobies. um, like since 2 years old, I got bullied about my looks because, as you guys can see, my face it's not the prettiest. It's not the prettiest face out there. Um, I was bullied about my looks at first, and um, every time I go to school, I would get bullied about like, oh, look at this guy, he's ugly. Oh my god, he's ugly. Ooh, and afterwards, I start eating because I was not happy about myself. So I start eating and eating, and of course, when you get fat here in Europe, people make fun of fat people because most people in Europe are skinny. And of course, then they start making fun of my weight, then my face, and I would get beaten up nonstop. For example, when I was 13, I remember that I went from home walking towards the school, and at the school gates, I saw a guy that really loved bullying me, and he would run to me at school on the street, just in front of the school, where I was about to walk in. I was smoking a cigarette, I was 13. I was like, yeah, smoking is cool and all that stuff. And he ran to me and started bullying me. I was just ignoring it because I'm used to bullying, so I was just ignoring. I just kept my running and running. And then afterwards, that he saw that I was not being affected by the words that he was throwing at me, he punched me. So I grabbed him by his throat, lifted him up, and threw him away. And of course, the whole group he's friends with start running towards me. So of course, it's like 10 people, 10 kids, way older than me, running towards me. So the only thing I could do is run to the offices of the school, but I didn't have enough time because my school, the autistic school I was at, had the 4-year-old till 12-year-old part of the school, and I was right there. And the other part of the school was for 13-year-old till 18-year-old. So I was still in the kids section. So I ran into school for the kids, like younger than 13, and running to the office. Then in my brain, I'm like, oh shit, they're not gonna do anything about it because it's not their issue because that's a different school. Well, it's the same school but in different section. So I ran to the office's hallway, went to the bathroom, put my foot right on the floor and on the door, so when they push, it's not gonna work because my foot's in the way. Plus my arm, and I push like that, and I still have my cigarette. So I was basically smoking in the bathroom, waiting for those kids to try to leave me alone. They were pushing the door so hard, 10 people, 10 kids trying to break in to beat me up. But it didn't work because I know how to close the door properly with my feet and with my weight. It's like a good door stopper. The door broke, and I was there for half an hour, and somehow, I don't know how, but they knew it was me, the teachers. So they're like, Damien, open the door. I'm like, no, I don't want to open the door because it's like 10 kids trying to beat me up. I'm scared of my life right now. So after 10 minutes of them trying to get in, did not work. So they said, there's nobody here. It's just us teachers. So open the door. So I opened the door, and the cigarette was on the ground. They smelled cigarettes, but I did not get in trouble, thank God. and went back to school. And like, I don't understand why people want to bully in groups. Why do you want to beat somebody up in a group? That's not okay. Like, what's the point of trying to hurt somebody? That's what I don't understand in the world. And it's really stupid. And another story, which I'm not, how to say it, I'm not okay about doing that. But at that point, at that the choice I had to make at that age, I had no choice besides showing my strength. But that's the day where people left me alone. So what happened? The teacher was sick, right? And I got put in a different class with older people. And we had to walk to the gym, and I hate walking because people are like, oh, look at that fat guy, he's walking, he's finally doing some exercise to lose weight. Oh, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, whatever, I have to walk. And one guy in that class was fat. He was also a heavy-weighted person. So I started talking to him, trying to be social, which I'm not social whatsoever. I'm not social. I'm awkward. And I started talking to him, and he was actually pretty cool. He was really, really cool. And he was like, he understand my feelings. He didn't care about my weight or that I look ugly and all that stuff. So I started talking to him on the way to the gym. Then when we're out at the gym, everybody is doing sports besides me because I didn't want people to make fun. I like, look at all the fat is going up and down when he's running and stuff like that. So I decided to stop sporting there. And whatever happened, right? They just talked and whatever. And then the hour was over. We had to walk back home. Well, back to school. And I was talking to him again, chilling, vibing, making a new friend. I'm like, yeah, maybe finally in my head, I'm like, finally, I could get a new friend. Finally have one friend. But the fat guy that I was talking to had a friend, and he got jealous because I was talking to him nonstop. So what he did, he was 18, by the way. He grabbed my MP3 player from my hands and tried to steal it. And that's where my dad died as well. My dad died, and I got really depressed. So I got fed up with bullying and people stealing stuff from me. So what I did, which I'm not proud of, is I grabbed him by his neck, throw him against the wall, grab his head by his hair, like right here, and I start bashing against the wall. Pam, pam, pam. Like he started to get dizziness, and he got really, really like dizzy and not like he was losing strength because I was literally killing him. So there was 10 kids trying to grab me by here, grabbing by my arm, my body, trying to push me away from that guy, but it was not working. And that class was all 17-year-old and 18-year-olds, and I was like 13, 14, I don't remember exactly my age. And it was not working to pull me away because I'm a big dude. So all the strength is pretty much my fat. And the teacher sneaked up on me, grabbed me by the neck, did a John Cena move, I think. Like, he grabbed it, I think he do like backwards, so I fall back behind him. Fell on my head, he jumped up top of me, started choking me, and start spitting in my face like, you need to stop, calm the fuck down, what the fuck you doing? And I'll spit on my face, and I start getting blue and starting to pass out. I'm like, I can't breathe, and he kept doing, until the kid said, that fat dude is losing consciousness. So the teacher stopped, we went to school, and I had to sit in the offices. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it's my first fight ever in school. And I was in the office, and I stayed there for like an hour or two, and then I'm just chilling, I'm vibing. I'm like, yeah, I fought somebody, and now they're not allowed to mess with me. I'm like the godfather of the the school, you know. And suddenly, I look like on my right, and I see my sister. I'm like, no, no. They call my family, but since my mom does have a car or a bicycle, she called in my sister, and my sister came to school, and I saw her with her husband, and I'm like, looked at them, and I saw their faces. They got like, it was like not a face of being mad, but a face of disappointment. I'm like, oh shit, that might be a bad idea what I did. And then the teacher came to the class office I was all alone in for the detention, and she sat there with my sister and her husband, and the teacher asked me, "What were you doing?" And I said the story. He tried to steal my MP3. I got mad and I started beating him up. And the teacher asked me, if the teacher was not there, what would have you done to him? And I said I would kill him. I would try to kill him. And that was the plan. So they kicked me out of school. And for a year, I stood in my bedroom. Like, I would not go to school because I got kicked. And it was an indefinite kick from school. So all I did was gaming, like 20 hours a game. I would not go to the shower. Like, after 3 months, I would go to the shower. I would eat and eat, drink coca all day, like 2 liters. I don't know, in gallons. It's like a big bottle, like this, and that big. Like soda, cigarettes. Not giving a fuck about my life anymore because I got depressed, because I could not go to school. I was not allowed to go outside. So after a year, the school contacted my mom and said, okay, Damien can come back to school, but on one condition. That one condition is, if I go to juvie, I guess in America we call it and they call it juvie, right? But here in Europe we call it youth detention, which is a youth detention. So it's a bunch of troubled kids going to a location, and then it's like doctors for the head and people that like talk to you and stuff, you know. I had to go there for 3 months to a year. I can stay there for 3 months, and then they're gonna do an evaluation of my brain, like my personality, my disorders, and all that crap. And then they're gonna decide if I have to stay there for another year, or I could go back home. And my mom said, okay, you know, I cannot just live in my bedroom all day long, all night long. So she accepted it, and we went to Petham, which is like an hour or 2 drive, I think, and that's where my brother used to live. So we went to the youth detention facility. I went there. There's like a bunch of kids. They're making fun of me. They're like, oh, that guy is fat. That's a new guy? Oh my god, he's ugly. But actually, they're pretty chill. When they started to get to know me, they knew I like to be alone. And the kids stopped bullying me. They're actually inviting me to come over with a group of kids going to the room where you can smoke. And we could hang there, smoking a cigarette, go back to the rooms. And I actually felt comfortable there. I really felt comfortable. I felt like I made friends there, you know. Nobody was judging me. People wanted to chat with me, hang out with me, and all that stuff. But things considered, I still had the anxiety of not going to the canteen to eat something. So I never ate there. So I was starving myself, and like I would stay in my bedroom there all day long, all night long, unless one of the kids knocked on my door and said, "You don't want to hang out with me? You don't want to go to a smoking room and smoke whatever?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And like once a day, I had to go to a doctor for the head, and they did tests on me, like asking me questions and look how my personality was, and if I had some issues like anger issues, stuff like that. And the doctor said to the school, yo, school of Damien has no issues with his head. He has autism, but he has no anger issues. He's not taking drugs. He's not like, I'm a normal kid basically. I just have anxiety and autistic, and I like to be alone. So the school was forced to accept me back. So I went outside the youth detention, went back to school. Of course, I'm always alone at school. When there's like recreation time, whatever you call it, like you can go to the yard to play with other kids, like just a break time basically. I would go to the offices and I would sit there on the bench at the offices waiting till the recreation time is over to go back to class, which the teachers didn't like it. But like I told the teachers, I have anxiety. I don't like being with people. I freak out. And they know that because last time I was forced to go with a bunch of people. I freaked out so hard that I ran away from school, and a lot of people tried to hold me back. It was not working, to the point where the head teacher, like the boss of the teachers, not the director of the school, but I don't know how it works in America, but whatever. She said, let him go, it's not gonna work, he's too strong. So I went home, blah 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 blah. Went back to school the next day, everything was fine, I was calm, I was just chilling. And that day I felt amazing, oh my lord. I slept for 12 hours because I ran away from school, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed, And I felt really good. I had a good night of rest. I felt good in my skin because I let the anger out, basically. So I went to school, I was like laughing, I was talking to everybody, I was chilling, I was so happy, I was, oh my lord. Like, I had a good day. And the teachers at the school is like, yeah, that dude is on drugs. They called the emergencies to send an emergency car, a hospital car, what do you call it? I don't know the proper word of it. And they picked me up, and they're like, yo, Damien, you have to come with us to the hospital. I'm like, why? What's wrong? Like, I thought my mom was dead because my dad recently died. Now it's my mom. Like, I was really scared. So I came with them. And then we came to the emergency section of the hospital. And we sat in, like, they told me to sit in a room, an emergency room, and just sit there and just wait. I'm like, okay. So after an hour sitting there, suddenly my mom comes and my sister comes. The sister that came to basically tell me I need to go home, I get kicked out. She's there too. I'm like, oh no, what happened again? What did I do? What did I do again? And the doctor talked to my mom, and my mom didn't want to tell me anything. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the doctor came and talked to me, said, yo, Damien, you're not allowed to go back to school. You're not allowed to go back home. You have to be here for a week. I'm like, why? What's going on? And the doctor said, we think you're on drugs. I'm like, what? I'm not on drugs. I never took drugs. I'm clean as fuck. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke drugs. I don't take crack or a needle in arm, whatever that's called. And they didn't believe me, so I had to stay there for a week. They took blood samples, pee samples, and there was nothing. I was clean, like a whistle, clean as a whistle. But I had to stay there for a week because the school didn't want me there. Basically, they were trying to find like reasons to get me away from school as much as they can. But of course, Damien is always clean. You know, I don't take drugs and all this stuff, so I could go back to school. So the school said, okay, we cannot get rid of him. We cannot send him to the youth detention because there's no issues with him. So they're gonna decline me to go there. They send me to the hospital to hopefully see if I take drugs or not. No drugs. So they decided to do something else, something that's dramatic. So they don't get in trouble, and I don't get in trouble. Like, I could not get out of the school, and the only way they could fix that without them getting in trouble, so I don't report to the cops. But back then, I didn't have the brain for it to think about that stuff. And they said, you know what, Damien, you can go to school every day, but you're not allowed to go to classes.